Well, now the latest on a Papillion man strangled by his pet boa constrictor. The Humane Society of the United States says this is the first documented case of a boa killing a person in the U.S.
On June 10, 2010, 34-year-old Corey Byrne was outside his home in Omaha, Nebraska, reportedly showing off his 9-foot, 25-pound male red-tailed boa constrictor to his roommate's girlfriend when tragedy struck. While fearing snakes of any kind is a well-known phobia that many people suffer from, perhaps it is even more understandable to be afraid of giant snakes. This is because, unlike smaller non-venomous snakes, giant constrictor snakes can cause adult human fatalities. Giant snakes include the popular Burmese and reticulated pythons, the African rock python, and a famous anaconda. These giant constrictors are even illegal in several states, as they are considered to be injurious and dangerous wildlife. But what about the so-called boa constrictor? Most of us certainly will hear this name and picture a very large animal, on par with the other larger snakes that were just named. However, there is a bit of confusion over what exactly a boa constrictor is, and it is often the case that any giant-sized snake is labeled the term by the media. The term boa constrictor is first and foremost a scientific name, with boa being the genus and constrictor being the species. The boa constrictor is one of the few animals commonly known by its scientific name, another famous example being Tyrannosaurus rex. Informally, the term describes a large-bodied snake from the family Boidae that can reach up to 13 feet in length. Confused yet? There are several boa species that are kept as pets, and not all of them are so large. The larger boa constrictor species, which are all native to Central and South America, is also referred to as the red-tailed boa or the common boa, and within this species, there are several populations that are considered subspecies. The subspecies that most of us are thinking of when we hear the term boa constrictor is called boa constrictor constrictor. This is a very large popular species with a reddish to brownish tail that is often kept as a pet in the world of snake keeping. However, while it has the potential to grow to lengths of 12 feet long, this is actually rare. In captivity, this species normally attains lengths of 7 to 10 feet. While this is by no means a small snake, it is quite small compared to popular species like the Burmese python, which can easily grow over 15 feet in length. The boa constrictor's smaller size might be why fatalities caused by them are so rare, despite their popularity as pets. In fact, there have been no more than 3 known fatalities from these boas in recent American history, and possibly less. Sadly, Corey Byrne became one of these extremely rare victims. Neighbors had described that Byrne often displayed his pet boa constrictor on his shoulders around the neighborhood, and even at one point let children play with it. His sister stated that the snake had bitten him before, and his family wanted him to get rid of it. "My daughter actually had it around her neck," said one of Byrne's neighbors. "There were about 5 or 6 kids over here that day." On that fateful day, Byrne reportedly had the snake wrapped around his shoulders and neck. While he was talking, the snake became scared, and as Byrne tried to quickly remove the snake, it, quote, naturally reacted by wrapping itself around Corey's neck. "It was scared. When you put a baby down, it grabs onto you. That's what kind of reflex it was," his sister said. Byrne couldn't speak, turned red, and passed out. Around 5:40 p.m., an officer responded to a call from the home, and according to one source, at one point, the snake was still wrapped around Byrne while attempting to retreat up a tree. Byrne had no pulse. According to one source, at that point, the paramedics arrived soon after and helped to remove the snake. Officers corralled the boa and put it back in its cage. Later, the Nebraska Humane Society removed the snake from the scene, and it was later determined to be well fed. The shelter sought to have the snake rehomed to a zoo, although its final whereabouts are unknown. Officials could not determine what caused the attack. Byrne passed away hours later at the hospital. Before his passing, he told his sister to watch over his 3 children. Strangulation was ruled as the cause of death. At least 13 people have been killed in the U.S. by pet pythons, which are also constrictors, since 1980, said Beth Prius, the Humane Society of the United States Captive Wildlife Regulation Specialist. But as far as I know, this is the first time someone has been killed by a pet boa constrictor. The incident also remains the first and only captive constrictor snake-related fatality in the state of Nebraska. There's another alleged fatal boa constrictor attack that took place in Ohio, but this information is unconfirmed. Ted Drays of Cincinnati, Ohio, was found dead partially inside his snake's enclosure, which was described as a boa constrictor. The snake in question was said to be 13 feet long, which is an uncommon length for boas in captivity. If this attack didn't involve a boa constrictor, Corey Byrne may be the only person to be killed by such a snake in the United States. While 9 feet isn't so long compared to snakes that can attain 20 feet in length, boa constrictors are still sizable animals and they are perfectly capable of killing humans. However, not only are fatalities from boas extremely rare, so are fatalities from all constrictor snakes in general. If we lump all these species together, there are still only 0 to 1 fatalities per year from even the largest snakes in the US. This should tell us something. While it is always recommended to exercise extreme caution around potentially deadly animals, despite their relative popularity in the pet trade, giant snakes still rarely kill humans. This suggests, at minimum, that we have overestimated the public safety threat of these animals, and perhaps banning their ownership isn't the logical step it may appear to be. We can keep these rare cases of snake-related fatalities even rarer by ensuring the public is educated on the proper handling of large constrictors. For those who are not equipped to deal with the largest snake species in the world, there are smaller species that can make a better pet option.